The dust has finally settled, and the boxing world is buzzing after the highly anticipated rematch between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. Fans have been waiting for weeks to see how the sequel would play out, and the experts' predictions are now being dissected in the wake of the fight. Let's take a look at how the pundits weighed in before the bell rang.
For you and Conor Benn.
Unbelievable. I mean, look, obviously beating Queensbury 2-0 was nice, but that was just on another level. I mean, absolute masterclass schooling. You know, Eubank didn't win a round, very lucky not to get stopped in the last. But listen, respect to him, he's a very brave man. But it was a great performance from Conor Benn. Totally different fight to the first fight, but it needed to be, just had to keep his emotions in check. And I knew he could make it easy like that because he's much better. But giving up the weight gives you a little bit of a disadvantage, but tonight he just showed his quality. Eubank, as I said, coming into his fight, I think it'll be his last fight. That last fight that Conor Benn gave him would have taken a huge amount out of him, and he just got beat by the younger, better, fresher man tonight.
Did you expect that type of performance from Conor Benn? Because you were quite confident all week.
Because, I mean, he was still explosive. I mean, don't forget, he won every round, and in the 12th, he's still trying to stop him. When I'm just going, just circle, I'm like, I can't, you know, just chill, and he's like still going for the finish. But that's what Conor Benn's about, and you know, tonight he had to do something that he's never really done before, which is just stay calm and don't be reckless, just be precise, work the body, you know, land clean, jab, move your head on the way in, just the basic stuff. And he did it beautifully well, and that was absolutely, as they say in the trade, sweet as a nut.
Is that the end of that chapter with Eubank? Obviously,
yeah,
it's closed.
He's that. I mean, like, you can't have a rematch when you've just won 13-0.
You know what, it's just one of those things, you know, I knew Conor would win. I actually thought Conor would have stopped him, and it's only when Conor caught him in the 12th round. If he was slipping a lot of the punches, and Conor never really caught him flush until the 12th round, you know.
Very unfortunate not to get the stoppage.
Yeah.
I suppose if it had gone on another 20 seconds, then he would have, or 15 seconds.
Yeah, but we'll take the win. Even in score, we don't want a third match. Don't need to. Glad this saga's over with. Glad it's all over with.
Everything. The way Chris boxed there just showed you how hard making the weight was for him last time. The older he is, the way I can get you down to 2 stone. You might not be able to tie your shoelaces, but I can get you down. So even though he got down to it, you saw the effect of it there. It looked like a man walking in slow motion in quicksand. Conor was all over him. Well deserved to the end. Chris had nothing to give. And that, you remember the last fight, Chris had nothing left to give. Conor did. The way Conor boxed, he did. He never left him alone. Ripped his heart out. He did the right thing.
What was the difference? Was Conor Benn better today, or was Chris Eubank Jr. deteriorated? What was the difference?
Both. They're both going. It's like a pendulum. Conor knew what he could do. Didn't think, I'm not sure what I can get away with from the last fight. For Chris, the pendulum is, he's rinsed himself down that much, he's thinking he can do it again. As I said, anybody can get down to the weight, it's what you can do at the weight. Boxing is the worst place to be if you aren't going to put yourself at a disadvantage, because it's the only place you can legally get killed. And so what Chris did was, Chris depleted any advantage he had in the first fight. And again, in this fight here, what did he expect? Conor just had to put him under pressure, keep up the pace. He took the pace, made him work constantly. And when you make him work constantly, that's how he starts.
Unfortunately, for me, the fight didn't live up to the expectations. I'm extremely underwhelmed. How they've pulled that off. Very, very, very poor fight. Disappointing. It came alive in the last round. That's it. The last round it happened, and Conor Benn got the win. You know, rightly so. But Eubanks tonight didn't turn up. Old overnight. His legs weren't in it. Came in a pound light at the weigh-in, which probably has something to do with it. But Father Time caught up with him, and you know, they've pulled off a heist tonight. That's what they've done. They've made an absolute fortune out of a nothing fight. It was not a patch on the first one. Obviously, that first fight took everything out of them both. Conor Benn came in a bit more cautious, did the right thing, just picked through with his jab. Nobody expected him to do it. I didn't expect him to do it. And you know, Eubanks had really nothing to offer. The shots that came in, the first shot that put Eubank down actually skimmed past Eubank's ear and caught him on, just past the temple. The second shot was the back of the head. They weren't clean shots, but it just shows how fragile he was. that he was going down from shots like that, because the right hand, what hit him in the first knockdown, went past his ear. It did connect, but it wasn't a blow coming into the side. It skimmed past him and it toppled him over. So what does that actually say?
Really happy, and thank God it's over. Listen, like I said in the press conference Thursday, Conor had to make adjustments when he fought Chris in the return, and I felt like he made the adjustments. He stuck to the game plan. His feet was good tonight. His boxing ability was good tonight, you know, and he was fortunate for Chris that bell went in the last round, because it was virtually over then. But he won so clearly, and he boxed smart. Didn't lose his head and swing punches all over the place, and I'm really proud of him.
So it's a completely different fight, obviously, from the first fight. Is that what Conor Benn had to do just to make sure, and it was a comfortable victory in the end, but to fight that way, to make sure, regardless of whether it was as exciting as the first one, just get the job done?
Yeah, of course, and you know, we had the game plan, and he stuck to the game plan, and he won convincingly, and that's all it's about, is getting a win at the end of the day. I mean, the icing was nearly on the cake in the last round, but listen, I'm proud of him. He boxed smart with a cool head, and he won the fight convincingly.
It didn't surprise you how comfortable it was in the end for Conor?
No, it didn't surprise me at all. I thought Conor actually had him betting between round 1 to 3 and 3 to 6. I thought if Conor caught him early, because he never caught him until late, and when he hurt him, you can see that he hurt him, and Conor was still fresh at 12 rounds.
But this is where the whole Eubank and Benn saga ends tonight.
Yeah, it ends tonight. You know, I'll be honest with you, he tried to shake my hand, but I pushed him away. I said no.
Who did?
I did. I pushed him away.
Junior?
No, senior.
Senior.
Yeah. You know, he always plays this game and all that. You know, attention seeker, and I just got sick and tired of it, because I went to embrace him at the weigh-in, and he done that to me. And I thought, mate. I felt like throttling him. I thought to myself, mate, I'm not even going to bother talk to you no more, mate. Yeah, it was so disrespectful, and I was like, you know what? Give me a cuddle, and that's it. But carry on. I won't talk to him again, mate. He's a waste of space. I'm sorry to say, mate. It's just hard work. He's always like this attention seeking, and everything about him just like rubs people up the wrong way.
What do you do with Conor now? Who do you look at? Like Lewis Crocker?
Yeah, look, all the champions at 47. Lewis Crocker, of course, he really wants that WBC title. Marios Barrios, you've got Rolly Romero, you've got the winner of Haney against Norman. Conor Benn's just filled an arena, 70,000 twice. He's a massive star of British boxing, so nice rest over Christmas. And I said in the ring as well, I think it's important to say, I noticed tonight that Movember is one of the sponsors for the show. Movember is all about kind of raising mental health awareness for men, and particularly suicide rates. If you had any idea the shit that Conor Benn was in his life, fighting this case, right, to the point where he was having to sell everything he had. He was in hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of debt because he wouldn't give up trying to win this case and prove himself. And when I say mentally shot, he was a completely broken man. And maybe he might tell you one day how low he really was, but trust me when I say he was banging trouble. There was no way out, and that is a great lesson to people out there. When you think there's no way out, stay with it, keep the faith, and that's what Conor Benn did. He worked as hard as he could every day, and look at him now. Like I say, just a year and a half ago, finished, rock bottom, no way out. He's just fought Chris Eubank twice, secured his and his kids' legacies and financial legacy forever, and he's just become one of the biggest stars in British boxing. And good on him, because I tell you what, he's a good bloke with a good heart.
Why was he not able to let his hands go? The last fight was only 6 months ago.
Yeah, but he's, like I said, time's caught up. Was he 32, is he? And Ben's 28. Yeah, he's a bit like time catches up. That's what happens. He just couldn't fire, could he? Couldn't fire. And like I said, the first fight, he had to dig deep. It meant something the first fight. They didn't know they were going to have a rematch. And Eubanks had to win. Maybe he's got into this fight. I think, well, if he beats me, it's 1-1, whatever. But he just didn't have that fire in his belly tonight. Maybe he's just lost the taste for it. But for me, I don't come to many live events. It was a very underwhelming fight till the last round, and even then the finish wasn't fantastic. I'm pleased for Tony Sims that he's got the win. They've had to think about what they've done. They've played it smart. They didn't go rushing in and allow Conor Benn to be there to get it by Eubank, but to be honest, Eubank wasn't accurate tonight at all. Very, very inaccurate in what he threw.
Conor's next step will be dropping down to 147 and trying to claim the world title, and obviously he wants to emulate Nigel of being a world champion, so you know his next fight will be down at his natural weight.
But just last one, under massive pressure, Conor, obviously off the back of that loss, to come here and deliver, which he did.
Yeah, exactly, you know, and you know, he worked hard, he worked really hard in the gym, and he badly wanted to win this fight, and you know, of course he was under pressure to it. He wanted to have a win over the Eubanks for his dad as well, so but listen, it's onwards and upwards now, and get back down to 147 and go and win that world title.
And how their insights align with the action we just witnessed in the octagon. Before the fight, Tony Bellew had thrown serious heat into the build-up, shaking up the prediction game with his latest take. The former cruiserweight world champion believed that the tables may have turned and that the quick turnaround could actually favor the younger, sharper Conor Benn. Bellew highlighted that both men carried unfinished business and pride on the line, hinting that Benn might finally have the edge to close the show this time.
37, the size, but ultimately, to recover from fights like they just went through, and believe you me, that was a war that you can't have more than 3 of them in your career, because after you have 3 of them, it starts to show. The signs, the telltale signs are there, whether it's slurred speech, whether it's your reflexes start coming out of the joint, you know, you're getting caught more and more, they do show. Now, with the turnaround speed of this fight, it will benefit Conor Benn more. The younger man will be the fresher man, the younger man will be, I don't want to put him as the favourite, but I just think the older man and the heavy man will come stronger later on in the fight. I think it will show out again. I just feel, in my opinion, I think he
While Eubank Jr.'s experience, chin, and composure in deep waters couldn't be dismissed, Bellew suggested those same veteran traits might not save him in this rematch. He emphasized that the intensity, tempo, and hunger Benn brought to camp could make all the difference once the fight unfolded. If Bellew's instincts were right, fans were in for a brutal twist in one of British boxing's most heated rivalries.
He learned more from the last fight, Conor Benn, and I think this time he possibly does get rid of him and learns from the mistake, because he had him out on his feet 2 or 3 times, out on his feet, and he just didn't have it in to press him. When I spoke to him before the fight, I kept saying to him, Conor, it's going to get hard, and he was like, Tony, I'm so fit, I can do 20 rounds, and I said, mate, trust me, at some point in this fight you're going to tire, and he wouldn't have it, he would not have it. And I said to him, you don't understand, what you do in the gym is different to what goes on under the light, and that was his first fight under the light on a huge occasion. I know he's had big fights in the past, but this was one of huge magnitude, ones that we've all shared here, and they're different to normal fight night, they're different to title fights, they're different to anything he's ever experienced before.
Carl Froch had also stepped into the prediction spotlight, siding firmly with Conor Benn before the rematch. He believed Benn was in the best shape of his career. Sharper, stronger, and more focused than ever, Froch praised Benn's intense training camp under Tony Sims, noting that the sparring and preparation had fine-tuned his aggression and timing to near perfection. In contrast, Froch expressed concerns about Eubank Jr.'s endurance and aging pace, suggesting that the signs of wear had already been visible in their first encounter. Froch's analysis indicated that Benn had the tools to exploit those vulnerabilities if the fight went the distance.
Takes a bit out of him. And Conor Benn's getting better, he's improving, he'll learn a lot from that first fight. So this fight for me is a lot closer. Conor can catch him and calm it down a little bit on the outside and not rush like he was rushing his work, and all the head movement and little short steps and all this on the outside. Unnecessary energy getting wasted for 12 rounds. Yeah. He can just calm that down a little bit, and he's Tony Sims in his ear just to settle it down in the sparring. I think there could be a different decision on this one. I sort of fancy Conor Benn. He's got to make Eubank the favourite because he's bigger and he's naturally bigger, and usually a good bigger meets a good little and all that. But in this case, I don't know. It's a close one, but I don't actually think it's a fight. That might be a bit controversial to say this. I don't think it's a fight that needs to happen.
Johnny Nelson also shared his prediction prior to the fight, backing Conor Benn to defeat Chris Eubank Jr. in the rematch. He believed that Benn had proved his skill and heart in the first fight, leaving Eubank Jr. significantly drained and vulnerable. Nelson pointed out that this time, Benn had a real chance to finish what he started and settle the score once and for all. He advised Benn to stay focused, keeping both his mind and emotions in check, to ensure Eubank Jr. never found a moment to recover or regain control.
To use it to the best of your ability ability. Put it on him. Don't leave him alone. Don't let him breathe. You know in boxing when you throw a shot and it's like an unwritten rule, you'll step back, both have a breather. Boom, jump straight back on him. You've got to be that raw animal. And I understand what you're saying, but don't overcook it. Your personality, who you are, is what gets you where you want to be. So again, an intriguing fight. My prediction on that fight, it's the beginning of the week. My prediction is, I'm going to stick to it, it's going to be Conor Benn. I think Conor Benn has got more to give. I don't think Chris had more to give. So it's down to Conor to make a mistake and overcook it, overthink it, and dance Chris's dance. You do that, he's got the job. It's going to be a great fight either way.
Roy Jones Jr., the former 4-weight world champion, also weighed in, predicting an even more competitive showdown than the first encounter. He believed Conor Benn would make smart adjustments based on the opening fight, which could elevate both the intensity and excitement of the bout. While acknowledging that Eubank Jr.'s size still provided him with an advantage, Jones Jr. expected the rematch to be faster-paced, sharper, and more thrilling for fans watching around the world.
I think it's going to be a little bit tougher this time because I'm sure Ben, if he's smart, is going to make some adjustments. And if he makes adjustments, it's going to make it real good, real fun again. I expect another brilliant fight, just like it was the first time. And I'm looking forward to Ben. Eubank probably should win it again because of his size, but I think it'll be a better fight than the first one.
Hamza Shiraz, one of Britain's rising super middleweight stars, had been confident that Conor Benn would not just edge out Chris Eubank Jr., but could stop him outright. Undefeated at 21-0-1 and preparing for his own major fight, Shiraz's opinion carried serious credibility. He pointed out that the first bout, despite ending in a unanimous decision for Eubank Jr., had taken a heavy toll on him, and that kind of wear wouldn't simply vanish. Factoring in age and the quick turnaround, Shiraz believed Benn could capitalize on Eubank's vulnerabilities and secure a stoppage victory in the rematch.
It's an interesting one, and I think Conor Benn will get the win. I think he'll get the win. I feel like Eubank Jr. doing that all again. It's not like he's young and his body can recover from it. His body wouldn't have recovered from what happened to him last time in terms of the weight cut and that fight as well. It took a lot out of him. Took a lot out of both of them, but I feel like Conor Benn will probably get the stoppage this time.
Eddie Hearn also voiced strong confidence in Conor Benn's preparation, noting the remarkable transformation he had witnessed in camp. Hearn emphasized that Benn's dedication and discipline were on another level this time around, reflecting a fighter completely locked in on redemption. The intensity and focus Benn brought to his training, Hearn argued, were not just for show, they demonstrated a genuine readiness to seize the opportunity and take control of the fight.
I'll tell you something now, I am so confident Conor Benn wins this fight. And listen, you know I always back our guys, and sometimes I can get romanticised by just, being part of the team. Conor Benn looks totally different for this fight.
Liam Smith had similarly thrown his support behind Conor Benn before the rematch. Having already shared the ring with Chris Eubank Jr., Smith understood his style up close and believed Benn had what it took to finish the job this time. He admitted that Benn's performance in their first encounter had been far more impressive than most expected, proving his growth and grit under pressure. Smith issued a clear warning to Eubank Jr., insisting that Benn would come out on top and in dominant fashion.
First fight was a better fight than I kind of expected. I expected Chris to win the first fight, but I thought Conor performed better than I expected. The rematch, I think Conor Benn, I probably fancy Conor a little bit more than I did the first fight, and I probably just now to put me money where my mouth is, I probably think Conor might win this one.
He felt Eubank Jr. was no longer the same fighter, suggesting that age and accumulated mileage were beginning to catch up. In contrast, he praised Benn's current form, highlighting his sharpness, energy, and impressive work inside the gym. While acknowledging that Eubank Jr. had put in solid preparation, Smith remained firm in his stance that the rematch would end with Benn's hand raised high, leaving no doubt this time around.
I do think he looks better this time round. In camp, I think the sparring partners I've seen pictured with, I think he has took this one a lot more serious than he did take the last one, as in Eubank Jr. But yes, in my opinion, I think he, one fight away from being done. I think his balance is not what it was, and we've seen a lot of that in the first fight. He didn't really look, solid on his feet. I think he was buzzed a few times, but. So, my opinion is that I bring Conor Benn to it a lot more this time round because of what I think on Chris Eubank Jr. I think he's only 1 or 2 fights away from being done.
Amir Khan offered a slightly different perspective prior to the fight, focusing on how experience could influence the rematch. He believed Eubank Jr.'s composure and ring intelligence gave him tools to handle the pressure. Khan highlighted Eubank's previous victory over Benn, noting that the confidence gained from that win could once again prove decisive inside the ring.
I think Conor will do a little bit more because he knows he had a little bit more left in the tank from the last fight, that he could have done more, but he was just holding back a little bit. So I think it'll be a closer fight than the first one, but I think Eubank will still take that fight.
At the same time, he recognized Benn's skill, heart, and explosive power in the opening rounds, but felt that Benn hadn't fully showcased his potential in the first fight. Leaving some of his fire untapped, Khan anticipated a closer, more competitive rematch rather than a one-sided affair, while still leaning toward Eubank Jr.'s advantages in size, strength, and composure.
Maybe just take the win, because Eubank will have the confidence that he's beaten once before. He's bigger than him physically. And finally, I think experience. Yeah, I mean, and because he's the favorite going into fight, people are always going to be. I think one thing about Eubank is that I think he's won a lot of fans over lately.
Spencer Olivier shared his insights as well, backing Conor Benn in the rematch. He pointed to Eubank Jr.'s decade-long tenure at middleweight, noting that his energy and stamina weren't what they once were. Olivier highlighted Benn's youth, power, and relentless pressure, pointing to the damage inflicted in their first fight as evidence of his punching strength. He believed that with Benn at his physical peak and Eubank Jr. still feeling the effects of their previous battle, it was clear why the younger fighter entered the rematch as the favorite.
Comes into the head. I don't really fancy this.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing. I would have thought that Conor's thinking, I've got him this time. He don't fancy this. Whereas I think Eubank's saying, I'm finishing this early. You're going down. That's what I'm thinking, but I might be totally wrong. Right, still to come. So, Manchester United fans, we want to hear from you. What do you make of what Ronaldo said this week about Ruben Amorim?
He do it to his best. What are you gonna do? Miracles? Miracles is impossible.
But saying that, as I said,
Olivier emphasized that Benn would come into the rematch fresher, sharper, and physically stronger than before. He reflected on the first fight as a true test of Benn's skills, where he proved his talent and resilience. Turning to Eubank Jr., Olivier pointed out the challenges he faced with weight management, suggesting it affected his performance and exposed vulnerabilities. While Eubank relied on experience and mental toughness, Olivier felt those struggles were still lingering. Combined with Benn's momentum and strong backing, Olivier saw the younger fighter holding a clear advantage heading into the sequel.
Forest game, United were up, two minutes later, 2-1 down, came back 2-2, could have won it. You looked at the table going, I don't believe it, is that Man United up there? Are you getting bored of hearing ex-players criticise the state of the club? Is it time to install some positivity around Old Trafford? 03717223344, give us a call. That was a look ahead, all thanks to the brilliant Travis Perkins.
And that's a wrap. Benn versus Eubank Jr. delivered all the action and drama we expected. Did the fight go the way the experts predicted, or were there surprises? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like if you enjoyed the breakdown, and subscribe to Ring Rivalry for more fight analysis, reactions, and behind-the-scenes insights.